Okay, team, have you ever wondered what the term Spanish colonial architecture means when it comes to a home, especially a home that you might buy? I'm going to cover different architectural styles at San Miguel de Allende on this video. Want to learn more? Come join us.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Latin America Correspondent, where once again today we are in San Miguel de Allende, and today we're going to be looking at a variety of different domestic architectures. Now, normally I'm joined by the incredible, everyone's favourite guest, that is Greg Gunter, but if you can see me now in the video, he's not here, and if you can hear as well, his dulcet tones are not yet in our company, and that's because they're right behind this door. Let's give it a knock. Hello, Greg.
Hey, John, come on in.
I've just been speaking about you. How we miss you.
We have a gorgeous Spanish colonial home to show our viewers today. Come on in, team.
Greg, so there's a number of different styles, of course, through San Miguel. We've mentioned before that it has a real sort of hybridity and heritage, vast differing heritage. And we're going to look at a few different styles today, but I understand that what we're looking at where we are now is a Spanish colonial style house.
Yeah, this is a very traditional Spanish colonial style. This is called Casa Nostra Familia. I have it on the market for $2.1 million. So it's an upscale home. It's a nicer home. So it's got a lot of the nicer detailing that you would see in some of these more expensive homes, the seven-figure homes. More cantera, more wrought iron details, things like that. So it's going to have things like this even. This is a very nice cascading fountain, the Delphine fountain that you see here. Again, a very European influence. Remember, this is a Spanish colony, so a lot of Spanish and even a little French influence. The Delphines tend to be a little bit more French in influence, but remember, we've got a lot of French influence in Mexico, and especially in this part of the town. The nice thing about this one is it's like an entry courtyard. So you've got this kind of slow down zone. This is right on the edge of Centro, so it's only a 6-minute walk to the Jardín, but a lot of towns right in Centro, you open right up onto the sidewalk. So you walk from the living room right into the traffic, or, you know, it's a little bit of a jolt. And one of the nice things about this home is that we have this very Spanish colonial fountain.
Sort of set back, isn't it?
It is.
It feels removed from the hustle and bustle.
Yeah, and I call it a decompression zone. You know, you walk in and kind of catch your breath and go, oh, okay, I'm home. You know, one of those kind of nice.
Yeah, there's not a direct, as you say, with a lot of Mexican homes, there's almost a sort of direct border to the public space. And the public space, of course, is very live, it's very vibrant. Yeah. Whereas here, there's sort of points of transition in the house.
Yeah, that's a really nice detail about this house in particular. That's one of the things that people look for in a home. Look at the chinking detail on this. This is a very Spanish colonial wall here as well. You see the small chinks of stone that have come off as they've carved this stone to make it flat, to make it for a wall. Those small pieces that come off get chinked between in the mortar. So that's a very unique Spanish colonial design that you'll see mostly here in San Miguel de Allende. So it's a really cool design. People love that to give a little texture to the walls. So team, like John said inside, we're talking about Casa Nostra Familia as a great example of Spanish colonial design, Spanish colonial architecture. I'm out in front so you can see the facade is very Spanish colonial. And I kind of like to joke about that because many of the homes in San Miguel have no curb appeal. They like to be as plain and simple as possible so they don't look like they're worth breaking into. That's kind of sort of the joke that we have. This one's a much nicer facade, and you see a lot of the detailing here that's very Spanish colonial. So the arch that you see here is all carved cantera. You see that the trim around the windows are the carved cantera as well. The rejas, the ornamental wrought iron that you see. We have a cenefa here. This is kind of what you almost think of as a wainscot in the United States. This is a cenefa trim, and they paint the lower part of the walls a different color because this is where the rain splashes down and wants to splash against the wall. So this one gets painted about 3 times more often than this one. So that's why they often do 2 different colors, and they have this separating the wall. Another very Spanish colonial detail. Let's go see more of the inside, team.
Greg, we're right in the entranceway to the house now, and this house is full of amazing details. Just talk us through a little bit this magnificent entryway.
So this is cantera stone, team. This is carved cantera stone. This is a simpler facade that you see here, the carving, but look at the corbels up above. Very Spanish colonial. You've seen a few others around town. Some of them are animals. In this particular case, this is like a corbel design. So a lot of good ornamentation here that make it more Spanish colonial in detail. And you know, in other parts of the world, those are wood. Here, the fun thing about them is that they're carved stone. It's a stone called cantera, and it's like a limestone. It's pretty easy to carve. When we get inside, we're going to see some ornamentation. The fireplace, for instance, is a very carved cantera fireplace. So great details inside. Let's go inside, team.
Greg, so we're inside the house now. We've adopted a perfect framing position
There you go.
around the fireplace. Before we talk about this magnificent fireplace, I just also wanted to say that obviously it's difficult to sense this because we're on a visual, but the temperature differential between the outside, it's the middle of an afternoon, it's very hot in May in Mexico in San Miguel, and you walk into the house and then suddenly it's just really fresh and cool.
Yes, exactly. This home is made from adobe, and so traditional Spanish colonial architecture is made with adobe. That is because adobe has a great insulating factor, so it keeps it warmer in the wintertime, but also keeps it cooler in the summertime, like right now. So it was 88 degrees outside when we were outside just now. We walked in, what would you guess, 20 degrees cooler, right?
Yeah.
And it feels like it's in the low 70s or something.
It hits you. It's a wall of difference. And the cool, one of the things actually that I associate with Spanish colonial architecture as well is how amazingly
Comfortable.
Yeah, it keeps that temperature, that coolness, that freshness really,
Yeah.
really well. I trailed before. We're in amongst this fireplace. Tell us a little bit about where we are and what this is.
So we do have a lot of fireplaces in San Miguel because in the wintertime, as you know, John lives in Mexico too. In the wintertime, like in December and January, we can get down into the 30s and 40s at night. So it makes for a cool morning. Those same nights that it's down to 35 degrees, it'll be back up to 75 degrees during the day. But we do need those fireplaces in the wintertime. So the fireplaces here recreate the old Spanish colonial, designs. This is a relatively new fireplace, as a matter of fact, but we still have lots of Cantera stone carvers that make all these detailing. And when my clients come here, they go, "Oh, that's cast concrete, right?" I'm like, "No, that's actually done by hand." It's amazing what the carvers can do here in town. I've had custom pieces recreated for me by my Cantera people from, for instance, French antiques. I'll find big urns, and they'll go, "Yeah, we could do that. What size?" So this is a good example of the kind of work that they can do. The fireplaces here are a little bit modernized in that we can't do wood-burning fireplaces in Mexico anymore because of the air quality. So all the fireplaces are gas like you see here, but of course they're recreating the look of the old Spanish colonial fireplaces. Our cameraman's gonna pan around a little bit here, and I'll just keep talking as you see the room. This is the very Spanish colonial detail of the wood beams. We've got natural Cantera stone floors. You'll see a little bit here of how thick the walls are. So the exterior walls, we're going to show you another example of one of the exterior walls. Our cameraman's looking at an interior wall, and you still see the interior wall is like 10 inches thick. Our exterior walls get to be more like 20 inches thick. They're really a throwback to the Spanish colonial style.
I see we're standing in a doorway here, Greg, and I think there's 2 points of reference. One is the clamshell that we're going to talk about in a second, and the second one is, how long is your forearm?
Look at how thick the walls are, our team. I'm talking just my forearm just to get to the front door, and it's another 4 inches beyond that, right?
Yeah.
These are those super thick adobe walls. It's like in the old days, they were, sometimes they're up to a meter thick. I mean, they could be really thick. But you mentioned the clamshell. Remember, if you've seen the other video that we did earlier about architecture in the whole city, especially within the churches, how the clamshell ornamentation from the baptisms of the indigenous Indians, because they would use clamshells, that got incorporated into religious architecture, and then it has been adopted by a lot of residential architecture. So this is sort of a glorified clamshell detail that you'll see. Some of them really look like the clam that we saw in that church in that other video. This is a little bit more of a more modernized, stylistic clamshell detail, but it's again a very great Spanish colonial detail.
It's amazing how prevalent it is as an aesthetic.
Yeah, a lot of it throughout. And we all love that. I mean, we're in the middle of, we're so far away from the ocean. We're 5 hours from the closest beach, but we've got that clamshell detail is kind of a cool, that's what makes it really unique, because we're so far away from the ocean that they're using so many clamshells here in San Miguel. We're going to have our cameraman pan the camera around a little bit to show you a little more of the room here. But again, some more of the Spanish colonial details that you'll see here is we've got the viga wood beams. This is a particularly beautiful ceiling because between the beams, we've got these stenciled and colored terracotta tiles. So those colorful tiles that you see up there are what would typically be on the floor in just a regular terracotta color, and here they have colored them and stenciled them. And I've sold several projects here that had those same kind of recreated, beautiful stenciled ceilings. Hey John, let's recreate our GQ pose here again for the fireplace, right? Like in the living room.
This is our 2026
exactly.
winter calendar look that we've been perfecting.
Here's an even more ornate Cantera fireplace. Again, carved stone. Look at the detailing on the acanthus leaves here. Beautiful detailing. Now this particular one, they've done a niche. In Spanish, they call it a nicho. And it's got a downlight to show off this mural that's been painted by a local artist. So cool cantera around the trim here as well as here, but a really beautiful mural. Again, a sign of an upscale home, a little more expensive. Let's go see some more.
Greg, we are in this absolutely splendid kitchen. My question for you is, what would you cook in a kitchen like that?
Tortillas, of course.
Tortillas is your base.
Hey, you know, the video that you maybe haven't seen yet because it hasn't come online yet, I was just here with Donnie Masterton, our most famous, our Anthony Bourdain chef of San Miguel, and we cooked in this kitchen. We actually made guacamole.
Wow. Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with guacamole.
Exactly.
And also, the beauty of this kitchen is that it is such a social space, isn't it? Of course, you've got the cooking, but it's also just a really sort of horizontal, open, social space to be able to enjoy.
So this is admittedly a modernized, Spanish colonial kitchen. We do have the old tile. So the kind of the thing that makes this a little bit more modern is they're using a travertine marble tile here, rather than the busier kind of azucelos, the Mexican tile that have lots of different colors and decorations and stuff like that. So it's been updated a bit, but I'm gonna have our cameraman kind of show you the details. We've got the detailing above the hood here with the acanthus trim. We've got the beautiful corbels at either side. We've got these nichos that are built in, and again, you see that clamshell detail that we talked about. And the same one is a stylized clamshell detail on the nicho up above it. So lots of detailing that pick up, even though it's a modern tradition, that pick up on that. And now here's another one. Underneath the stove area, you see the arches there, and you're probably going, well, what's that for? As you see, it's not used, but in the old days, the throwback to the old original kitchens here, they would put their firewood there. So that's where they stored the firewood to burn the stove. So we've got several nichos here that look like they're a throwback to the old Spanish colonial kitchens where they stored firewood. We can't get firewood anymore. It's too difficult.
We're sat outside now, Greg, in this amazing, spacious patio, and you've got this sort of sheltered bit here, which is the beginnings of this inside-outside space that Mexican houses, specifically Mexican colonial houses, do so incredibly well.
Lots of indoor-outdoor space. Our weather's mild enough year round here that we can be indoor-outdoor 12 months a year here. So there's a lot of outdoor spaces like this. This is a really good example. We've got a fireplace here. Like I said, in the wintertime, it can get cool enough that it's nice to have a little fire here, mostly for decoration. But you can see, again, we've got the carved, ornamented cantera fireplace there, gas again. We've got, we'll show a little bit later, but the same kind of ceiling details here. On the edge of the camera frame, you can see that we've got a basket weave column, and I've got a fly that likes me. Generally, we don't have too many of those.
No, it's the inside-outside space, isn't it? But yeah, because of the altitude in San Miguel and the Bajío region, actually, insects are generally much more controlled than they are in other parts of Mexico.
I was going to say, most people go, what insects? We don't really have, rainy season, we'll get a few mosquitoes from mid-June to mid-September. We might get a few mosquitoes there, especially if you're close to the park or you have a lot of lawn area. But that's the wonderful thing. It's nothing like Florida where the mosquitoes will carry you off. Here the bugs are very minimal, and that's why we spend so much time indoor outdoor. You don't have that bug zapper in the corner going off every 10 seconds zapping some bug, because we don't have any bugs here. It's really wonderful.
And again, it's I think it's worth saying or explaining, because you can't feel it, of course, in the video, but it's about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. It's definitely warm outside, and here it's incredibly cool and fresh, and the air just naturally circulates.
Yeah.
Which is also part of the design of these old, these historic sort of Spanish colonial designs. Encourage the flow of air in a very, very particular way.
Yeah, exactly. The airflow throughout the entire house is, very few people here have air conditioning, so the airflow is really important for them for that perspective. We are beginning to see more and more of what they call mini splits now, and that's a renovation or a retrofit for these older Spanish colonial homes where they'll put in a mini split. Team, that's an air handler that sits on the wall, kind of innocuous, and the noisy compressors up on the roof. That's why they call it a split. So it can create air conditioning and heat, both, which we kind of, we need a little bit of heat here in the wintertime too. That's good. Team, I started to say on the edge of the film there, at the edge of the camera frame, you can see what's called a basket weave column. And again, that's carved cantera. That's a really unique and also throwback to a Spanish colonial style, but it's really unique in that it's a basket weave detail. And our cameraman will pan the camera up above it to show the balustrade above. You see it's that same camera weave detail. That's really unique and a bit unusual. I'd like to still call it a Spanish colonial design, but it is a bit unique. You don't see it all that often. It's a lot of work. Team, the fun thing about a lot of the powder baths here is that the sinks replicate a baptismal font. They're carved out of Cantera stone also. You see on the pedestal down below. This one's not round like the baptismal font, but it's the same kind of concept. So we love the scale of these, and then we've got the carved clamshell again. You see that clamshell detail, nicho up above that. So again, very Spanish colonial in detailing. Well, John, you were talking about the indoor-outdoor spaces. This is a great example of one. This is a large second floor terrace, and it's shared by the 2 bedrooms. But look at this balustrade detail, team, down here. Again, we were talking about that basket weave detailing. This whole thing is all carved out of Cantera stone. You can probably see behind us a little more of the detailing here as well. We're gonna have the cameraman come up and show you even more from up here.
We've eaten the guacamole, we've had our glass of wine, now we're on the balcony talking about philosophy, but I keep getting distracted by the amazing features that we have everywhere.
I love talking philosophy with you, John. So we wanted to show you, team, even more of the architectural details, the Spanish colonial architectural details. This is a good one because if the camera shows that red house next door, you can see the cornice detail on that. That's a really old home next door. You can compare that to the cornice detail on this newer home that we're in. Remember, this home is only about 16 years old, the one that we're in. Look at how much more ornamentation there is and how much more depth there is to that frieze and to the cornice. It's much more elaborate. It's all Cantera stone. So that's kind of a, this would be a more upscale Spanish colonial. While we're aiming the camera that way, you look at the stone carving details that you see in the wall. Those are kind of used to screen a little bit more privacy. So that's a very Spanish colonial detail also for areas like dressing areas or bathrooms where you need a little bit more privacy. You'll see our rain scuppers here sticking out. These look a little bit like cannons almost, but they're carved Cantera also. Remember, in town we saw lots of one when we did the town video of the town architecture. You saw a lot that shaped like animals. These are a little bit more contemporary designed. And you see the railing detail. The wrought iron here is almost an inch thick. It's super heavy, detailed wrought iron. You see there's a little bit of ornamentation on the right iron there on the Romeo and Juliet balconies. Lots of great Spanish colonial detailing in this house. So John, one of the big features for homes in San Miguel de Allende is, I always tell my clients, your sight line and your walking distance to the parroquia. So you guys can't tell in the video that we're a 6-minute walk to the Jardín, but we also have the view, as you can see, the sight line to the parroquia right there. That's a good money shot. That's maybe worth $50,000. It's a big deal.
It's such a distinct view, but it's interesting that it is, of course, I hadn't thought about it being a sort of an aspirational thing, but because it is such a centerpiece, to have that, it's almost like the ocean shot, isn't it? The cliff ocean shot. It's in San Miguel, it's that.
Or living in Paris, you want to view the Eiffel Tower, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we got the view of the parroquia right here. That's always a benefit. No matter what the architectural style is, that's always a great benefit to have a view of the parroquia from your roof terrace. Everybody here has a roof terrace. Don was saying, oh, I'm surprised there's a roof terrace. I'm like, no, everybody has a roof terrace. It's just a matter of how good it is. Does it have the view of the parroquia? Is it shaded? Does it have a kitchen? Those kinds of things. But everybody has a roof terrace here. You're going to see one a little bit later that's phenomenal.
Oh, wow. Looking forward to it.
We're done with Casa Nostra Familia. If you loved it, it's only 2.1 million, team. Give me a call. Let's go see some other styles. Team, we're showing off architectural styles of homes in San Miguel de Allende. You saw a Spanish colonial. We're going to show you an international designed home. It's called Casa Lagerfeld. It's got the most unique architecture in the entire city. Come on in, let's take a look.
So, Greg, we're continuing our road trip round San Miguel and some of San Miguel's most interesting real estate. And here we are.
Some of the most expensive real estate, too.
Some of the most expensive. We're interesting.
Well, hey, I do luxury listings.
No, you do. It's your nicho.
Exactly.
Which we've seen a lot of in the recent podcast. But we're here outside Casa Lagerfeld. Interesting name. Where does that come from?
So we named this Casa Lagerfeld because it's a very international home. The design style, this is going to give you a contrast to the Spanish colonial that we just saw. This is a very international design. So we have a little of everything in here. Asian, Indian, Venetian. It's a little of everything. And you'll see a very unique collection of finishes. These are architectural details I'm talking about, as well as the antiques that you see in a home. But Lagerfeld, of his 18 or so homes that he had, Villa Vigie was the one in Monaco that was up on a promontory, and so you could kind of see a view of the whole bay. We're up on a hillside here, and as you'll see when we get inside, we have a view of the whole city from the second floor balcony of this one as well. So I kind of picked it up from that, you know, view perspective. It's like Via La Vigie, but also because it's such an international design flair. Let's go take a look inside. What do you think?
Absolutely, let's do it.
Let's go, team. John, remember all the doors? We saw a few doors in San Miguel. This is a good door, but I wanted to show off the door knocker.
Amazing.
We have lots of these really cool, the hand holding the door, you know, the ball. So these are door knockers. This is a quiet one. It's got a little rubber spot. Usually they're much more noisy than that, but you'll see a lot of those gorgeous hand door knockers like that in San Miguel de Allende. One of our unique features, again, of the Spanish colonial or international design. This is not Spanish colonial. She's a lot more elaborate.
And there's already a feel as we're coming into the house, Greg, of busyness, a lot of different things, a lot of different styles going on. It has an eclectic feel.
It does, and you haven't even seen inside yet, but I mean, look at our statuary here that you're taking a look at. I kind of wanted to show the team to see this as we're coming in, because we've got some really elaborate, ornate gardens back in here. So it's really fun. We're in a high mountain desert plain environment, but we've got a lot of tropical landscaping that you'll see in here. Lots of lush greenery. A very dramatic entryway as we come in. We're coming our way up these cantera stone staircases, and you can see how thick the stone is as we're coming up. So lots of great detailing. That would be a bit of a throwback to the Spanish colonial, but the rest of the home is much more international. Come on in.
Yeah, it has almost a sort of an Asian palatial feel to it. But also, as we know, there was a great history of interchange of ideas and artifacts and architecture and mercantile objects with Asia as well. They've sort of been forgotten. So this is definitely distinct.
It all facts. I mean, imagine that's where we got our fireworks from, right? Mexico has tons of fireworks. Where do you think that came from? Yeah. Obviously, that was, you know, Marco Polo and the tradespeople bringing stuff over from China. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, this house has got a lot of those really unique features. We'll pan over here and show you the wall, but this is a Venetian plaster finish on the foyer here, and it's been stamped. So you have a gold leaf on there, beautiful Venetian plaster finish. So again, you'll see that in parts of Venice and Italy, that Venetian plaster finish, but this is a very unique one because of the stencil work, the detailing they've done on the walls. And come on in while we're still talking. Again, talking about this international flair, we've got a bit of an Indian, kind of thing going on here. Lots of ornamental detailing here. So this house is really interesting from the standpoint that not only the architecture, but a lot of the artifacts and antiques in here are very international. So here now, team, we're looking at the floor here. This has got a painted stencil detail on it. This is actually painted on the stonework here. So it looks like a carpet, but it's actually painted. So it wears very well. Lots of great detailing like that. Again, not Spanish colonial. It looks much more Asian, perhaps a bit Moroccan in influence.
We're continuing our shots, Greg, of you and me in front of fireplaces.
There we go.
But this one's really different. I mean, the very design of this, the shapes of this is distinct.
What would you guess this is?
I mean, it's definitely feels sort of East Asian-y.
Or almost Moroccan, right?
Yeah.
With the quatrefoil kind of arch here. It's a very unique, So again, this house has got lots of those unique features like that. You'll see some Moorish, some Moroccan, Indian like that. We're going to see tons of great details. We can have the cameraman pan the camera angle up while we're here, and he can show you the beams that we have up here. So slightly different beams in this house. Again, we would think of that as European or Spanish colonial, but the difference here is the corbels that you see. So we've got some very ornamented corbels over on the edges of the beams. And then what's a little more unique about this one is that the center part of the beam has been painted silver. That's not a very Spanish colonial design.
And the thinness of the beams as well. It is a different aesthetic to the usual beams you would see in colonial architecture.
John, you know what a rose window is in a cathedral?
I don't.
The rose window is the round window that's over the front door of the church that lets all the light through. It's always stained glass. I like to think of this as sort of an international example of that. It's a custom stained glass window. We don't have a lot of stained glass in Mexico in residential environments, sometimes more so in the churches. So this is another kind of, you could say, a little bit of remember we talked about how the religious elements have kind of made their way into homes here. Again, this is a very international home, but this is a little bit more of a cathedral sort of look with the stained glass, but as you can see, it's very Aztec in theme. So you know that you're in Mexico, even though we're in a very international house, but here's your reminder that you're in Mexico.
Yeah, and obviously here, you're in the dining room and there's a ceremonial aspect to the stained glass window that we're seeing here, and it sort of really reminds you of what coming together to eat and sustain yourself means.
I love it. I'm ready for oysters and caviar. How about you?
Always.
Let's go. So John, you've lived in Mexico for a while. You know that wood is kind of rare in Mexico. We don't really get much
Certainly
good firewood.
and hardwood, very difficult to find.
So the wonderful thing about this house is that the ornamentation of the cabinetry in this house is very non-Mexican. It's, typically they're much plainer, simpler fronts, not a carved front. This is almost Bavarian or almost German looking. It's a very carved ornamental front that you'll see here. The hood has got some great detailing. You see the corbels right in here. This is really unusual. It's certainly not what we would think of as Spanish colonial, for instance.
This house is completely unique. It would, if you woke up in this house, it would be difficult to pick what country you were in.
What country am I in today, right? If it's Tuesday, it must be Belgium.
Yeah,
Love it, love it. Let's go see some more of the house.
Greg, well, what a surprise. We find ourselves in front of a fireplace. Once again, we're running out of space in our calendar, but this fireplace is absolutely amazing. Biedermeier fireplace?
Would you call it that? I would.
Yeah.
I think this looks very much like a Biedermeier. Those of you that know much about furniture, the Biedermeier design always incorporates some ivory, some black wood with the carved mahogany, and I think this is a very great example of a Biedermeier style fireplace. You will never see, this is the only Biedermeier I've ever seen anywhere in all of San Miguel de Allende. Very unique. It was done by a local craftsman here who's very well known for his cabinetry. Most all of the woodwork, the kitchen that we just saw, for instance, that's all his handicraft. But this is the most unique one. Obviously, the owner gave him specific feedback on saying, I want a Biedermeier looking fireplace, and so that's how we came up with that. Here's a little French influence right here. We have the French fleur-de-lis. So see, we've got all kinds. We're going to show you the next fireplace, and we're going to see another fleur-de-lis in the other fireplace. But don't you love this? Phenomenal. And all of this cabinetry here, same kind of detailing. As you can see right in here, we have the same kind of Biedermeier detailing. All of this wall was custom crafted by our local guy.
Amazing.
Fantastic, huh?
Yeah.
Let's look at the other fireplace.
Let's go.
John, what do you think about this fireplace?
Well, it seems so far away from the other one, but the other one is just another 4 or 5 meters away.
Whole different design.
You turn around and there's something else absolutely amazing just over your shoulder, and here is something else.
And another completely different style, right? This is another completely different international style. This is a stylized corbel, for instance. So you can't say this is Ionic or Corinthian or Doric. It's a very, almost an Asian kind of capital on top of these columns. You see, I told you that we'd have another fleur-de-lis to show you. Look at the fleur-de-lis here. Again, a French fleur-de-lis, but a stylized French fleur-de-lis. I love this one because remember what was the Xanadu in Citizen Kane?
Yeah, yeah.
You could walk into that fireplace.
Yeah.
And this one is, look at the mantles above our heads here. You could almost sit in this fireplace. I love these details. Let's go look at some more. Hey, John, can you think of a good fireplace company that would hire us as models for the fireplaces? Come on, look at this.
We need to focus ourselves on developing a niche series about fireplaces.
Fireplaces.
We could do a whole series on fireplaces just in this house alone.
Oh, we could really on this house alone. This is definitely not a Spanish colonial fireplace. It's a gorgeous, as you can see, this is all glass. So a phenomenal glass fireplace here, custom tiles, it's stone, glass and stone. This is stone up here, and you see we've got the TV back behind it. So we've hidden the TV back behind and the nicho back behind it. The details in this office are just amazing. Our cameraman's going to show you the ceiling up above us. So you see that the beams above us are stenciled. They're almost well, they really are a European kind of stenciling that you see, almost kind of a Moroccan stenciling. But interestingly enough, that wood that you see woven between the beams is called tejemanil. That is a very Spanish colonial detail. So we've kind of combined a few styles here, as you can see. We've also got the corbels at the ends of the beams, and that was a little bit more of a European thing too. You'll see simpler corbels sometimes in Spanish colonial detail. And then the cameraman's going to show me this, show you all this phenomenal mural that we have back behind us. This mural spans the entire office. This is an amazing Etruscan mural that was made for this. Again, Etruscan mural. I mean, how international can you get, right? I mean, that's such a phenomenal piece. And again, it's an office, so you're seeing a lot of equipment, but this piece is absolutely amazing. I've never seen one like this, even in a $7 million home here. Let's go see some more.
So Greg, you were saying before about the importance of being able to see the parroquia in the background. What a shot this is.
What do you think about this one, right? This is a great party spot. This is our
The air
money
is
shot.
flowing. We're on top of the hill. There's San Miguel underneath us. And right down there is the central most iconic building in the whole town.
In the whole town, exactly. The hot tub is over John's shoulder here, so 6 people could be soaking in the hot tub and looking at the parroquia, but this is the money shot team. So that's a commonality, and despite the difference in design aesthetics that we have here, we've had a Spanish colonial. This is a very eclectic European kind of home. We'll see another one a little bit later. The view is a commonality though, the roof terrace and the view, and this is the best you can get. This place, you could have a party for 200 people up here, right, John? I mean, it's a huge roof terrace.
And charge them to attend.
Yeah, exactly, for the view. Let's go see some more. Hey team, we're gonna be quiet here for a second. I'll let you hear the bells. Can you hear them from here? That's only about a 10-minute walk away. No, maybe a 12-minute walk away, but you can still hear the bells. Isn't that wonderful? These chandeliers, team, are from Venice. That's Murano glass that you're seeing there. So those were hand-blown in Venice. And the metalwork that's holding it is custom designed here in Mexico. So it's kind of a cool combination of Italian and Spanish. I don't know, John, something about this art makes me kind of tired. I think I'm ready for a nap. It's about siesta time anyway, team. What do you think? Can we take a break for a siesta, team? Nah, let's go look at some more home.
Greg, this isn't a fireplace, but we're once again framing a completely unique aesthetic and space. This has come all the way from India.
Yes, yes. The owner is a collector of, as we've seen, very unique and eclectic art and antiques and architectural salvage. So this is an architectural screen from India that he brought over. Phenomenal detailing. It looks like it's built in. It's actually not. It could be disassembled and removed if you wanted to. But our cameraman's gonna pan the camera around and show you the opposite side. We're in the media room here. And he's gonna pan around and show you that the other side of the room, we had the same cabinetmen that made all the cabinetry in the Biedermeier fireplace upstairs recreate a similar Indian wood carving for the other side of the media room. So that was recently made here in San Miguel by our fancy cabinetry guy to match the antique Indian screen that you see over there. Beautiful media room. Team, the woodworking again in this house, we've seen upstairs, I call the kitchen kind of Bavarian, almost German looking, very carved wood. This is very French looking that we see here, the kind of antique carved wood that's been whitewashed a bit. So lots of European detailing here, but the cameraman's gonna show us the ceiling in here. We've got a very Versailles looking stenciled French ceiling in this particular house. Beautiful. It's got the cornice detailing around it that frames it. It is just a stunning ceiling. You feel just like you're in Versailles. Love the details in this house.
This whole house, Greg, has been absolutely unique. But I think one of the things that's a takeaway for me is the access to the house, how it's kind of hidden back almost into the hill. And you've got these amazing bougainvilleas, this really distinct, partly landscaping, but also plant life, which is an incredible buffer zone. And really, when you get into the house, you're entering this, allows you to feel that you're entering this magical space.
Yeah, yeah. And we talked about how eclectic the architecture is. Look at the landscaping. This is the little secret garden for the house team. It's got an arch that frames the secret garden in the back. Talk about the eclectic architecture. This is a very eclectic landscape program too, right? I mean, we're in a high mountain desert plain. Typically you see cacti like this all over the place, but usually it's lots of different varieties of cacti and succulents. Here we've got, you know, more succulents and more cacti, organose cactus over here, but we've got all the exotic tropical kinds of landscaping that you don't typically see in San Miguel. So again, I love that the owner here made an eclectic architectural style, but an eclectic landscaping style, both.
It's a complete oasis, by which I mean that when you're walking into this house, you have no idea what you're actually
what you're up for, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is, I think it's fair to say, without exaggerating, this is a one-of-a-kind property.
It's a spectacular, you ready to move in? 2.45 million. It's yours, John.
There you go. There you go.
It's not much.
A 2.45
You make that in a week. Come on.
It's a snip.
Team Casa Lagerfeld. It's a phenomenal home. If you're interested, give me a shout. We're going to see a little bit more architecture for the last little bit of the architectural styles in San Miguel. Come join us.
Greg, we're here. Last port of call today in your lovely home. Thank you so much for letting us in. And I understand a little bit because it's a very different space as well. So to sort of cross-reference some of the possibilities around, what can be done
exactly
in a sort of basic space in San Miguel.
I wanted to give our viewers an idea of what they can do when they walk into a home. They go, oh, it looks too American. Oh, it looks too generic. Oh, it looks too plain. And I'm like, that's what this profession called architecture is all about. You can custom create you can have an envelope that works perfectly well. In this particular case, this is a condominium that had a defined envelope that I had to stay within, but I could completely customize the interior. But when you look at homes, for instance, sometimes you can even change the home, the structure of the home, the envelope of it, the boundaries of it, the doors and windows. I could do that here, but I wanted to show our viewers a little bit of what you could do from a design aesthetic to take something that looks very generic and very American looking and make it look, in this particular case, more Italian, more European.
I was going to say, it feels as though we're actually looking out over the Amalfi Coast and a young lady is going to bring grapes
Aperol
in and feed them to us.
Aperol spritzes, forget
that.
This is meant to look like a Florentine pied-à-terre team. So there's a lot of Italian influence in here. And I'll just kind of walk around a little bit and the camera can kind of
absolutely
pan around and
show us
follow
around.
me. So you'll see a lot of detailing that's been done here. This is a mirrored wall back behind us here that kind of reflects the architecture throughout and the antiques throughout the rest of the house. You see the cornice detail trim that's been added up here at the top with the warm LED light. So that psychologically raises the ceiling. Again, that gives it a little bit more of a European look because of the carved stone cornice detailing there. You see we've got the lantern style lights that you kind of see throughout the house. Over here we've got lots of little staging. You can see things that we have done to kind of create and give it a more European look, like the antique columns that you're seeing here, the statuary. Obviously, antiques and furniture make a lot of difference for a home like this, but we've added the wood flooring, which is new to the home. It didn't used to have that, so that makes it look a lot more, kind of a warmer, more European look. We've got a lot of unique features in a home like this that, again, gives it that European look. This is my Venetian Chase sedan over here, for instance. So you're not going to see, I guarantee you, this is the only one in the entire city of San Miguel. You're not going to see another one of these. This definitely gives it a very Italian look. So team, we have a little bit of a differentiation between the kitchen, where the cameraman is right now, and the living area. You can see my caryatid corbels. The girls are from Paris. This is Phoebe, and this is Ilaria. Yes, I named my statuary. I actually give my statues names. And then they are accented by these cava columns that I have created on each side. My old house had a 600 bottle wine cellar. I now live in a condominium. I don't have room for a wine cellar. So I created these cava columns with a firm here that does these custom pieces. So as you can see, they're rebar. They've been antique. They've got leather wound around them. And these are old roof tiles that are holding the wine bottles. So this is my red cava column, and this is the white and the rosé cava columns. Great details like you can do like that to kind of create a little bit more of a different look. So it doesn't necessarily look Spanish colonial. Hopefully it looks a little more Italian, but all the wine in it is Italian, so that's what makes it Italian. Look at the details, sir. Just pan the camera on, you can show. The antique light fixtures in here make a big difference too. When you see things like that, you go, well, that's not from Mexico. That looks very European, and sure enough, it is.
I think what you've clearly done here, Greg, is you've taken a shell and you've absolutely made it your own distinctive. When I see this house, this condominium, I don't see the condominium. I see sort of extensions of you and your character.
My personality.
Yeah, just how you've conceived the entire space is very unique. It's very you, down to the fact that you name your statues.
So team, we're in my office in here, which is also the media room. And I collect statuary from all over the world. And my French girl here is named Plenitude. So those enophiles of you will know the term plenitude. That's a term for champagne. But plenitude is my statuary. In here, I've got large pieces of statuary in each of the rooms. But look at the detailings in here. John is standing in front of a door. Believe it or not, that's actually a door. You want to tug on it a little bit so they see how it slides like a barn door. Pull it toward you. There you go. See, it's a closet door. That's good enough. I just wanted to show them that it slides back and forth. It's like barn door hardware. Another thing that I've done right behind John also, you can see the console that's over there. So that's carved cantera, and you could say, well, that cantera is a very Spanish colonial kind of look, but look at the balustrade. The balustrade are specifically French-styled balustrade. So I wanted to bring in a little bit more of that international flair again, kind of like the Lagerfeld house that we saw. So you're seeing something that's a little more of a Europhile house, I guess is the best way to put mine. I don't have much of an Asian influence, but very Italian and a little bit of French kind of look in mine. You can do things, team, also, Paul's showing them the lights up here. So I'm a big armillary sphere collector, as you can kind of see. So even the lighting that you can create for a home can give it a whole different look. Almost take viewers back, or people like me back to another century. I think I was born 100 years too late. I love the old scientific tools. So the armillary spheres are big fun things of mine, and I specifically found those light fixtures to kind of match that. Yeah, there's a close-up of one. Team, recognize the girls in here? They're very Rubenesque girls, aren't they? Yes, indeed. This is a Peter Paul Rubens. Now, one of the things that you do when you have smaller space, you want to give it a different look. You want to give it kind of a European feel, like I wanted to do. I've created art doors. So this is literally a door to my office area. It slides shut. You see there's an art light here when it's typically open. And I've created some of my more famous and favorite pieces of art. So this is the Feast of Venus by Rubens. And I worked with my graphic artist to take components of the whole, because if you know the painting, it's very horizontal, and I have a very vertical door, of course. So we've had to take some of the cherubs from over here and move them over here. But again, cool concepts that you can do to make any kind of home. May look too American for you, but you can make it look Mexican. You could do a big Frida Kahlo here if you wanted to, and make it look a big Mexican theme. Let's go see a couple more details. Team, we're over in the master bedroom to just kind of give you an idea of, again, how you can kind of change the look of a house. Here's another one of those art doors. As a matter of fact, this was the very first one that I did. This is a Bouguereau. This is almost exactly the same proportion as the original painting. That's what gave me the idea to create art doors. Easy to do in any kind of home, no matter what your art taste is. Obviously, this is a French piece, and I've got a very Italian home, but it's very European looking. That's what I love. Lots of cherubs. I got lots of cherubs in my house, so I can make it more of a European kind of look with the art. Easy to do in a home that you might find that's too generic looking. You see we've got the same kind of antique doors over here. So we've made antique mirrors. Again, that can kind of give it more of an aged patina that doesn't look, too American or too new. We've got a very aged kind of frame that you see over here. Again, I've used cantera here to create a candle tray that you see that's holding candles and flowers. Cantera, again, is a Spanish colonial detail, but the detailing you see here is much more kind of French or maybe a little Italian looking with the kind of detailing that we see here. Same kind of thing with the light fixtures. Again, you can kind of change the look of a home with much more European looking light fixtures. These look like oak, sort of a French sort of looking light fixture. You can, while you're aiming the camera there, you can see one of my other girls. So again, lots of statuary to give the home a different look. They're all on these gorgeous antique columns, and you can pan to the left and show them all the statuary at the top above the bed. Again, a very European kind of feel there with all the different statuary. So it doesn't matter what the home style is, you're able to change it and make it look any kind of style that you like. You decide it: French, Moroccan, Italian, Indian, Marrakesh, whatever style you want, we can do it for you, and I can give you the right people.
Greg, we've seen 3 different homes today, including very kindly your own last. A real range, I think, of different possibilities. And of course, as we've said now multiple times, it just sort of shows you the incredible range that San Miguel has. And over the last few episodes, of course, we've talked about that range in culture, in cuisine, in history, and now in real estate, of course, which is your, they are the waters that you swim in. But it's been a real privilege, I think, to be able to see these homes and appreciate it very much. I mean, I think your day-to-day and your being able to have a window into these different buildings, these different homes, but also how they constitute San Miguel more broadly is an amazing eye into what San Miguel was, is, and will be in the future.
And can be, yeah, exactly. I love this job because I get to see all these homes, thousands of homes in this town, and I get a chance to see all of them. And as an architect, of course, I love that. It's really fun. We thought we would wrap up this episode with just a little bit of scenery up here on the roof terrace. This is my roof terrace. You can't probably see the whole fire pit, but this is a fire pit all carved out of cantera. This is a blank terrace up here. There was nothing here. This is a whole new fire pit that's been created to create a dining table so I can have a dozen people up here kind of eating around the fire pit. It's all carved out of cantera, but we've got carved fleur-de-lis along the sides, and it's very antique looking, so very European looking. And here's another piece. If you are a landscape architect or know someone that is, they probably know about Edward Lutyens, the famous British, well, you probably do. You know that name, don't you? Does anything here remind you? I'm going to test you, John. Oh, come on, look at this.
Oh,
look at
wow.
this bench.
Yeah.
So I took, John will know, Edward Lutyens. The Lutyens garden bench is very famous among landscape architects all over the world. I love that concept, but I didn't quite have the room for it. I wanted a nod to that. I wanted to acknowledge the Lutyens style, but I needed something a little more compact because I'm a little tight for space. So I worked with my wrought iron guy to create these Lutyens throwbacks. So you see the backs of these are just like a Lutyens bench.
Yeah,
isn't that amazing?
They're beautiful.
Cool what you can do. The craftsmanship in this town is amazing.
Yeah.
Come buy a home and we can help you make it whatever you want.
And as you were saying, and especially as we saw, I mean, we've seen in all of the homes because they've all been made to fit the particular kind of character and style and aesthetic of the individuals within them. But it just goes to show as well how the sort of creative possibility innate to the adventure, I think, in buying your home, that you're not just purchasing bricks and mortars.
Exactly.
It's a concept. It's a dream that you're...
It's a very emotional concept that you can make your own and custom create to have kind of whatever kind of look you want. And
amazing.
that's what I love about this profession.
Thank you so much, Greg. And of course, we will let everybody know when the 2027 calendar will be printed and is ready for...
With all the fireplaces.
Greg Gunter, Jon Bonfiglio.
The fireplace poses.
Fully clothed calendar is ready for sale.
Hey team, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, okay? Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to John's podcast, my YouTube channel. We'd love to have you see more of our videos. We're doing one of these every month, so you see lots of great videos with us. Please subscribe. We'll see you next month. Fantastic, John.
Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, man.